Okay, so how did your relationship with your father affect your life in a positive way?
For me, it was just having somebody there all the time, and coming from a world in the inner city, 80s and 90s, when a lot of people didn't have that. I'm not saying everybody didn't have that, because I think that's a huge misconception and very foolish for people to say, well, nobody has their father in the hood. Nobody that's black has their father. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But when you grow up knowing that a lot of your friends are in that situation, I definitely have friends who had their pops, but a lot of them didn't. You learn early on to cherish and appreciate the benefit of that. Even in the times that you don't want to, whether it's the discipline side of it, you know what I mean? Whether it's the checking you side of it, or whether it's, the always being there and the protector and the nurturing and the loving. There's two sides to a coin, and you need both to get that bread off that coin. You know what I mean? For that coin to be worth something, you need both sides. So it's the same thing when it comes to parenthood, whether it's my pops, my moms, you know what I mean? So, it's very important to have all that. And that's why you're supposed to have two parents in the crib, and some people don't have that based on circumstance. A parent may have passed on or something like that, which is out of everybody's control. But then sometimes there are situations where a parent isn't there just because they aren't there. And I'm blessed to say that that wasn't me, where I had my parents every step of the way. I didn't live in the same house with them, but it didn't matter. When I was with one, the other one was calling me when I got home from school, and then vice versa. Until I got as a teenager, it wasn't like I had my mom's calling me every day or my pops calling. I'm 15, I'm outside running around, you know what I mean? But, I had that presence every single day from both of them, just two different cribs.
Got you, got you. Now, no parent is perfect. So what did you learn from your father, in the negative way? What are the negative effects Pops brought?
Well, I can't say negative, because I think everything is a learning experience. Even the things that at the time I may have thought were negative as a kid, in the
Yeah.
moment, you don't know. But then when you get older, you're like, oh, I get it now. I appreciate it. Like, for instance, my pops is my biggest fan, or one of my biggest fans of my music and my career. But when I was younger, first starting out, he didn't want me to do this at all. And I didn't understand it at, 12, 13, 14, like why he wasn't supporting me, why he wasn't in my corner with this. He supported me and everything else. But with this, he tried his best to steer me as far away from it as possible. And my pops never made music, has no knowledge or inkling of the music industry. All he know about music is how to purchase a CD or vinyl or tape at the time. You know what I mean? Like, he knows nothing about the music industry. He doesn't have a musical bone in his body. This was all God. It wasn't like, in the blood. Like, my son has it, right? And he gets it from me. It's in the blood. That didn't happen with my mother and father. It was God saying, you're the first one to get it started. That's like somebody being first generation born from another country, being born here. It's the same thing. First generation with the music, it's a kind of how the name came to label. But it's getting back to your question, my pops was very against this. My mom's was always with it. My mom's 9 years old. My mom was like, go do it, go do it. I believe in you, baby. You could do it. My pops was very against it. And it wasn't until I was 15, and I think I told this story before, but I was 15. Me and my bro A, who I talk about on every album, me and my bro A, my other bro Pesos, rest in peace, who I talk about a lot. We was at the corner store, like we was every day. We was at the corner store, and we buying whatever nonsense. And I look, and there's a dude at the counter with, and obviously with things going on now, it's a different energy. But at the time, this was what it was. It was 98, 97, and 98. I was 15. It was a dude at the counter with a bad boy jacket. And I just saw the back, said bad boy, and I froze. I was like, oh my God, yo, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I froze. And we went outside and we pressed him. Yo, you work for Bad Boy? Boom, boom, boom. And he threw on I'll never forget, he threw on the Murdergram beat. The doom doom da doom doom da doom doom dum dum. He threw that on, and he was like, "Yo, let me hear something, money." So my man Pesos went. A ain't rap, so A was just there. My man Pesos went, and then I just went and just going crazy. 15-year-old me going ballistic, He was like, yo, give me your number.
Mm,
So this is 98. I ain't had no cell phone. I had a beeper. You know what I mean? And I gave him my beeper and my house phone. So a
mm,
couple days later, I'm at the park playing ball like I did every day. I'm playing ball. I come home. My pops was like, yo, somebody from Bad Boy called here looking for you. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. Yo, what's up with that? And I was like, told you I'm nice. And that was kind of when he was like, wait a minute, this is real? Like,
yeah,
and he realized, you know what? No matter what I do, he's trying to do this.
yeah,
No matter how much I push back on it, no matter how much I want him to be a doctor, because that's what he wanted me to be a dentist. My pops wanted me to be a dentist, and because he was like, "Yo, that's guaranteed money. Medical field, medical profession is guaranteed. You're gonna be loaded for the rest of your life. Nothing to worry about. That's what you need to focus on. And but I wasn't trying to hear that. So that moment was when he was like, And obviously it didn't turn into nothing because I never signed a bad boy, but those conversations was being had. I called him back. We was on the phone talking a little bit, blah, blah, blah. It didn't work out. God knows best. Everything happens for a reason. But that is a part of my story. And that moment when they called my crib looking for me, like, hey, we're looking for Skyzoo. And my pops is like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like,
yeah,
what? Like, who you? You know what I mean? So, and when he told me, it was like he had a little anger to him. He was like, yo, somebody from Bad Boy called. What they calling you for? You know what I mean? Like, and I literally said, I told you I was nice,
yeah,
and I kept going on about my day. And that was when he realized, one, I was nice, and two, I wasn't going to stop.
yeah,
At that point, he knew that was one battle that he lost. So now, really getting to, I just gave you the long drawn out, really getting to it. I know why he was on that.
yeah,
And so that's why I said I can't say a negative, but things that you feel one way about. But then when you get older and you're put in that situation, you put in those shoes, you understand why those shoes fit the way they do or fit the way they don't.
mm-hmm,
Like now I look at it like, yo, man, I'm successful in my music. I'm blessed and all that. I don't know if I want my son to try to get in the music industry. You know what I mean? When he gets older, because I know the other side of it. I know the nonsense. I know the games. I know the BS. I know all the bull, all the nonsense. I don't know. I don't want that for him. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm
yeah,
like, man, I get it. I get why he was so against somebody calling the house from a label wanting me to get busy at 15.
yeah,
And my son is all about music, all about it. You know what I'm saying? Like all about it. So I'm like, all right, well, navigate this. So I can't tell him no when he's doing it and we go on vacations and buy the house and buy, do this, that, and the third because of music. You're gonna be like, yo, what do you mean I can make music? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's different from when my pops was telling me no. I was like, you just don't understand.
mm-hmm,
My son will be like, you definitely understand. You do it. I watched you do it every day. I
yeah,
come down in the basement and watch you recording on the mic. What do you mean I can't do it? So if that conversation has to be had, I'm probably going to lose that one. So
yeah,
we'll see when we get there. But I'm not saying I don't want him to do it. I'm just saying I get both sides of it because I'm in it. And I'm like, oh, man. I hope he don't want to do this too. You know what I mean? But and I love this. I love this. Please, everybody watching, don't get me wrong. I love this. But there's so many variables that are out of your control. They make you say, well, what variables could be more in my control? Oh, being a dentist, being a doctor, being a lawyer. You know what I mean? So, but I love this. Don't get me wrong, everybody. I love what I do, and I'm very, very blessed.
yeah. So let me ask you this. What do you think was what didn't let your father's doubts, you know what I'm saying? What do you think helps you be like, nah,
I
I'm
just love this too much.
yeah,
Before I was ever in the music industry and I was just yearning to be in the music industry, I just loved it too much, man. It's the same reason why I talk about it in my music, where like it could be Rich Paul with your LeBrons, right? Like if I'm Rich Paul and my man's is LeBrons, they really, really in the game, and I'm with them shoulder to shoulder, but I'm not in the game, but I know the game because I'm with them every single day.
yeah,
It's like the music was why I didn't go as far as I could have with other things. It
yeah.
was there for the taking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If your man is sitting there doing XYZ right there with you every single day, yo, let me yeah, come on. Come on and get involved. What you mean? You my brother. Get involved. Yeah, let's go. There was even moments of, yo, bro, you're not going to get involved. You know what I mean? At like 14, 15, yo, bro, you're not going to get involved. I talk about it all over milestones. You know what I mean? Like everybody was pitching in a pot, had that pot to pitch in and da da da. talk about it in all the music. You know, it was the music. I was too afraid of something getting in the way of the music.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it too much. I just wanted to make music. I wanted to get on. I wanted to rap. I wanted to pop. I wanted to blow. That was it. I was like, yo, I'm supposed to be a rapper, man. Like, this is what I do. I've been nice since I was 9 years old. I'm 14 now. Yeah, we outside. We doing the thing. We outside on the bench, blah, 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 blah. But yo, like, I'm supposed to be. So if anything is going to get in the way of this,
Yeah,
I can't go but so far.
yeah,
What happens? We get jammed. I can't go to studio. I can't get no record deal. What happens? This go wrong. I can't do this. I can't. What happens? I'm ripping and running. Yo, I'm supposed to be sitting here writing rhymes. I'm supposed to be sharpening my sword. You know what I mean? And I can't do that if I'm busy doing X, Y, Z, or if I get in trouble for doing X, Y, Z. I was always afraid of losing the potential dream. You know.
got you. And
So the
Pop,
same thing goes for my pops, where it was like
Pops
I
wasn't.
loved it too much. It
Yeah.
was like, yo, I respect everything you're saying. I always listen to you. I don't push back on you. I respect you, all that. I
Mm-hmm.
do as you tell me. But this one ain't gonna work. I'm doing this one my way.
Yeah,
And he learned that. He learned that by the time I was like 15, when that bad boy thing and all that, he learned that. He was like, all right, he ain't gonna give up on this one. I got everything else out of him. I'm losing this battle. And he had to get on board, you know?
got you. Now, when I asked that question, that's like with other interviewees, a couple of fellas was like, okay, my dad was too much of a disciplinarian. Or
Mm-hmm.
my dad didn't talk to me about the birds and the bees.
Mm-hmm.
Or my dad was he worked a lot. He wasn't really involved. He was yeah, my him and my mom's was together, but he worked a lot, wasn't at the house. So did you
Mm-hmm.
experience any of that? Was dad like too tough? Dad didn't really put that, talk to you kind of like, yo, son, be conscious of this, be conscious of that. Did you experience any of that?
He was definitely tough. I of course I got the talks, the bird and the bees talks. He worked, but he was home. So
Yeah,
those last two, I can't say that I experienced that. He was definitely tough and definitely a super disciplinarian for me and my two younger brothers. Absolutely, he definitely was tough. You
yeah,
know, definitely James Evans. You know what I mean? Like he definitely was tough. You
yeah,
know, so but it worked. You know what I mean? It worked on us being the way we need to be, you
yeah,
know, and especially speaking for myself, speaking for me, it worked. Like I said, you know, I was able to be outside, be in the mix, be shoulder to shoulder. You hear it. Like you hear the way I talk about certain things, like if it was firsthand. You know
hmm,
what I mean? You can't pretend to speak Spanish, right? Like you speak Spanish or you don't. Like it's like, wow, son knows Spanish. You can't fake that. You know
nah,
what I mean? So when I talk, I can't fake that. I
hmm,
made the mind of a saint. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you'd have thought I did it. You know what I mean? That's because of my people and my environment and the
yeah,
people around me. It was nothing to be right there. You know, I knew, yeah, I'm good, but it's nothing to still sit on the bench and watch the game. You know what I mean? Like Rich Paul. So, you know, but having that disciplinarian made it where it was like, yeah, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like it was my life was very boys in the hood, man. I tell people all the time my life was very boys in the hood. That's why milestones came together the way it did, and using that kind of as the backdrop to tell my story for Father's Day. You know, my life was very boys in the hood. I just had two younger brothers instead of being an only child like Trey. But I was Trey all the way. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I was Trey. I was right there on the bench, on the stoop, right there with everybody. On my man over there, y'all be back. Hop off the bench for 30 seconds, boom, boom, come back. We get back to the conversation talking about Nas or talking about Jay or you know what I mean? Or yo, I'll be yo, hold this real quick. Y'all be, you know what I mean? Like my life was very boys in the hood.
yeah.
Very much so.
So a spinoff from that question, how are you gonna approach like raising your son? Are you gonna follow in Pop's steps and be that disciplinarian, or are you gonna be a little softer? How's your approach to that?
I think everything is the way you do it. So like if I teach you how to cook something and I say, yo, this is the recipe, and you follow it and you go, yo, I like this a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the way I was like. But you know what? What if I added this? Or what if I used a little less of this? I don't want as much salt as Sky said. Or I want to put a little more honey than Sky would put, whatever it may be. That's your remix of it. So
Yeah.
for me, it's the same thing. There's a lot of things that I took from my pops being a dad, but there's certain things that I add. There's
Mm,
certain things I take away.
yeah.
There's certain, like there's my own remix to it. The
Mm,
majority of it is that recipe, but
mm,
there's a couple other things that I'm gonna chill on that. I'm gonna add a little more of this, add a cup of that, take a half a cup of this out. There's little things that I'm doing to remix it my way. So I'm definitely a disciplinarian, but I'm also very engaging and very fun with my son and very, my pops always had this saying, and I believe in it too. He would say, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. And if I'm your friend in the process, that's great. But if I'm not your friend, it's okay because I'm here to be your father and make sure you survive and make it and thrive and are successful and all that.
Yeah.
Very true. And I believe in that. But I do put a little more of the friend thing on with my son. One, he's so young, he's 7 and 7.5. So like he's so young, but I see the personality he has. Some of it is like me, and some of it isn't. Some of it is his own thing. Like he's super jokey, he's super practical, jokey, and funny, and all day he doesn't take anything serious. So like he's a jokester, like he likes to crack jokes, he likes to play pranks. He's at 7 years old. So that wasn't really me.
Yeah.
So I see that side of his own personality coming out. So I embrace that. So I play with him with that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say that. But I'm
Yeah.
still very much the disciplinarian. I'm the one who, if he needs to get checked, I'm the one that does it. I'm the one with the bass in his voice. I'm the one who, all right, stop playing. Like eyes lift up, like, all right, stop playing. All
Yeah.
right. And then, but then we back buddies in a few minutes. The other day he got in trouble for something and I had to get on him real good. And he was super upset. And then I let him calm down for a little while. He was crying, doing what I let him do him. And I went over to him and I said, are we still friends? I said, are you still daddy's friend? And he said, not right now, maybe in a little while. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if my pops would have been cool with that. You know what I mean? But I said, okay. I was like, he didn't say it disrespectful. He didn't say it, nah, pop, get away. He said, not right now, but maybe in a little while.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, you can have that. You're mad. You got in a lot of trouble. You got disciplined real hard, for lack of a better term.
Hmm.
You upset. You in some pain. It's all right. Go ahead. And 5 minutes later, he was jumping on my back and playing. And, so that's what I mean with the remix.
Yeah. That's dope, man. That's dope. Like you really that says a lot that you gave him his space because most parents, like you said, like they wouldn't even ask that.
Right. See, if he would have said it like barking at me, nah, we wouldn't have had that. You know what I mean? Like the neighborhood in me would have came out. I mean, yo, you nuts. Like, you know what I mean? But he said it very nice, very respectful. He didn't say, I don't like you, I hate you, none of that. No, you know what I mean? No. I said, are you still daddy's friend? And he said, not right now, maybe in a little while. He said it just like that.
Yeah.
I said, okay, that's all right. Take sit down on the couch and take your time. And he was sitting there watching whatever on TV. And then 5 minutes later, he jumps on my back. You know what I mean? And I know he's playing. So, okay, we're back buddies. You know what I mean? I got the point across. You
Yeah.
know not to do whatever you did. You know not to do that. Uh, you got discipline for it. You got your feelings and your emotions out, and now we back cool. So it's good. Everybody's happy.
And that's powerful, right? That's powerful because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like, how many times have you seen dudes growing up where they get in their feelings and just let rage and
And
that
don't know how to handle it. Yeah, that's one of the
yeah,
biggest detriments they try to throw on the black man, of like the black man don't know how to do, don't know how to cry, don't know how to this. And I grew up in a world where you didn't cry. You know what I mean? So I'm still dealing with that side of it because I'm not gonna say I don't think men should cry, but it take a lot for me. You know what I mean? Like I still have that old school part of me, right? But dealing with your emotions and all that, yeah, that's one of the stigmas that they put on black men. And so, just being able to be like, if that's how you feel, go ahead and get that out. You're not going to be disrespectful. You're not going to
yeah,
raise your voice or say something silly. I hate you. Growing up, you would see kids, not in my neighborhood, but kids I went to school with who didn't look like us, for lack of a better term. I hate you. I hate you. It's like, yo, you could say that to your mother and father? Like, that's crazy. Like, they be picking out my plot tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, my headstone tomorrow. Like, what? Like, you say that to your mother and father, but so we still not saying that. You ain't saying that in my house, no way. But if I asked you the question, I want you to be honest. Are you still daddy's friend? Eh, not right now. Maybe in a little while.
yeah,
Okay, I respect it.
yeah. I be
Yeah,
similar, like I ask my sons, like, you want to talk about it? And they be like, no. I'm like, all right, I'm here if you do. Let them go their way.
exactly.
You know, you can't,
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's all good.
yeah, I remember they not grown men, but they still people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. And they gotta understand, we want them to be honest. It can't be conditional.
exactly.
We want them to be honest, but when it come to me, nah. Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? It's just how you say it. It's about the respect. If you ask somebody if they want something from the store, if you ask me if I want something from the store, and I'm like, no, I'm all right. Versus, no, I don't want nothing from the store. That's two totally different things.
Yeah,
So it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, if I being honest, be honest with me. Just be respectful at the same time. So at a young age, he gets that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My oldest son is right here, listening and smiling the whole time. So
Oh, that's what's up,
he's
man.
16. So yeah,
Oh, word up.
yeah, yeah. So part two, explain the transition of pre-fatherhood to fatherhood. So that time before you was, you had your son when you was, no kids, you know, you carefree living your life to now
Yeah.
where I got this little baby now.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me, obviously the responsibility, financially and the literal responsibility of, this person's life is in my hands, like making sure they're good every step of the way. 24/7, I'm thinking of my son, making sure he's good. The moment he's at school, the moment I drop him off to school, I pray in my head. When I'm driving back home, I pray. There's so many things I pray about just one on one in the car, to God every single morning when I drop him off from school. Just protect him, make sure he's good, make sure everything is right. I beg of you, boom, boom, all those type of things. And every day when I pick him up from school, I pick him up from after school, and I see him and he's running around and he comes over to me and I got to sign him out. I say a prayer in my head, thanking God for making the day go great. Because obviously I prayed this morning. He's fine. The day went good. He went to school and went to after school. Everything was smooth. He's there smiling when I pick him up. Everything went great. So now I'm thanking you for making sure that went down today. And that's every single day, since the moment he was born. Since anytime he's out of my hands and out of my view,
Mm-hmm.
I start praying. So that's one. Two, I think the main thing that I love being able to say is before my son was, conceived and everything like that, I was very, yo, I got to go to this industry event. I got to go to that industry event. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to go. I got to go. Everything was work, right? Like, yo, don't sleep. Don't sleep. Yo, you got to stay up. Don't sleep. You got to go out. You got to go do this. And if I missed an event, I would see it the next day. And I'm talking way back. It would be like on the blogs or on Twitter or whatever, whatever. And you would see all the pictures from the Red Bull party and the so-and-so album release party and things that I was invited to and I was on the guest list for. And if I didn't go once in a while, I may not go for whatever reason. And I would always have FOMO the next morning. I'd be on my phone scrolling like, you got to be kidding me. So-and-so was there. Yo, I could have got with son and got the plug to get on this tour. I could have got with son and got some beats for this next album. I could have got with son and caught this plug for this so and so clothing line or this sponsorship, and I would get FOMO. Now, bro, I'm so not industry. You know what I'm saying? I'm so tapped out on the industry, like I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't care less. I used to have so many plugs in my phone of, okay, this person work at this label, this person is at this headphone company or electronic company, this person is at this clothing line, this person is at Nike, this person is at Adidas, blah 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 blah, this person is at Hennessy, this person is at whatever liquor, da da da, and different sponsors and vitamin water and whatever it was, just all a part of the industry. Okay, I'm working on this tour, so I got to try to get a sponsor. Maybe these dudes could give me some clothes. Maybe these dudes could put some money up for the travel and the hotel. It's all a part of being an independent artist. It's the way any other company runs or any other brand. Like, how do we continue to grow the brand? Like, so I don't have none of those contacts no more. I don't know who's at what place no more. I don't know if those people who used to be at Nike or Red Bull or whatever are still there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The moment my son came, it was like, that's over. And bro, I couldn't feel better.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And it sounds weird. People be like, yo, Doc, I don't have a plug for nothing no more. You need a plug on some ghostwriting? I am the plug. I'm the outlet. You know what I mean? I'm here. You know what I mean? So like, Other than that, like I can still teach you how to move in this game, absolutely. But yo, I need to connect to Live Nation Mag because I'm trying to get on this tour. I can't help you. You know what I mean? Yo, I need to connect to so and so because they having a such and such party tonight that's gonna be sponsored by Ace of Spades. I can't help you. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know nobody there no more. My son has all of that. So all that FOMO that I had within the industry, gone, completely gone. I still go out. I still go to my events. I still go to certain things that I have to go to. I travel all the time, you know what I mean? But most of the time when I travel now, it's either for touring or ghostwriting or shooting videos or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I live in Atlanta now, but I still shoot most of my videos in New York because my
Mhm.
music about New York. So I go to New York for 3, 4 days and shoot a bunch of videos, come back to the A, whatever, whatever. But other than that, like I don't go to all the events I used to. I don't go. I know people probably, yo, it's Sky. I ain't seen Sky in an event in forever. Absolutely. I'm in the crib, watching Phineas and Ferb, you know what I mean, with my son. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
Gumball, Amazing World of Gumball. That's my son's wave. Phineas and Ferb, Amazing World of Gumball. You know what I mean? Like that's his wave. So well,
Yeah.
all right, we in the crib watching that. Or we listening to jazz vinyl. My son is a gigantic jazz head. It's the wildest thing in the world because he's 7
Yeah.
and he is a jazz head. Like he knows nothing about what's on the radio.
Hmm.
All the stuff these kids know, Gunna and Sexy Red, and my son don't even know who Drake is. Like my son don't know who Kendrick is.
Mm.
Like, but he'll tell you Cannonball Adderley, Lee Morgan, Miles Davis, Horace Silver, Donald Byrd, Wayne Shorter. All my son's favorite musicians are dead. Every time we talk about music and
Yeah.
he finds out about a new musician, he'll be like, is he alive or is he in heaven? I'll be like, he's in heaven. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because everything he likes is jazz from the 60s, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like he wants to play trumpet, he wants to play saxophone. He talks about Art Blakey on the drums and the transition between Lee Morgan going into Wayne Shorter. And like that's literally what he has his own vinyl collection now. Like, he has like 5 jazz vinyl records and he's trying to grow his collection. He's 7. You know what I mean? So like I'm in the crib doing that. You know what I mean? Like he caught the bug from me on jazz and vinyl, and he flew. He didn't even run. He flew, man. And I love it. It's amazing. I'm like, what are you gonna do with this as you get older?
Yeah.
Because you're getting pocket now. You know what I mean? At 7, you're getting pocket, you're getting string. He asked about who played the strings on this record and who's the band leader on this record and who played the bass here and every song. Daddy, what instruments do you hear in this record? And I'll say it and he'll say, yeah, but I hear the sax too. Or yeah, I hear cowbell right there too. You know what I mean? Like at 7 years old. So, who's he gonna be, man? I don't know, but I'm here for the ride. So I'm doing that as opposed to being at some event with free liquor and trying to figure out who works for who and for what.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much your son, you know, pretty much saved you from all that, right? From like,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was loving every minute of it, because I rarely missed an event. Once in a while I would, of course, for whatever reason, but I rarely missed an event. But I would always get FOMO the next day. I would really feel like a failure. I
mm,
could have comments ringing, going crazy, showing me love and blah, 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 blah. And I love all that. But if I missed some industry event, not because I need to be at the party and be in the scene, but because I thought that might have been a step even closer to where I'm trying to get.
yeah.
And I would feel like I'm not going hard enough. Damn, I ain't go to the Red Bull event last night. I ain't going hard enough. Dang, I missed the DJ Envy party. I ain't going hard enough. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. It wasn't I got to be on the scene and be seen every night. Not at all. I don't care about that. It was if I go out and I go to these events and I go to these different things and I'm in these crowds and these rooms, these are the ways that I can take more steps to go even further on the path that I'm on. And if
Mhm.
I miss out, it's because I'm not going hard enough. That was it. Now I miss out because I'm busy with real life being a dad.
Yeah.
So
That's that's the power of being a father, right? Save you from a whole lot of unnecessary stress, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, I love it. I love being out of the loop. That's what I call it. I'll be like, yo, I'm so out of the loop. Now I still drop music every year. I
Yeah.
still sell records. I still go on tour every year. I still live on the road. I'm still on a plane every other day. I still, well, not every other day, but pretty often, I still do all those things. And I'm still, I guess, popping or relevant in my world and on my side of the fence within hip hop. So
Yeah.
that's great. It's not like, yo, I ain't hear no music from Sky in 5 years. Like, nah, I've dropped every year since my son has been born.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've still been able to, you know, be relevant, drop music, be successful, take care of my family with music, fund my life, fund my family's lives, the whole deal, but I'm just not in the industry anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a musician. I'm a working musician who owns other businesses on the side that I'm working on and brewing up and things that I've done and things that I'm doing, but I'm not in the industry no more. I'm a musician.
Yeah. And by the way, congrats. I saw your hamburger spot, right? Your business.
Yeah, yeah, my burger spot, my restaurant and all that. I actually recently put it on pause for a moment,
Okay.
but we're restructuring some things to bring it back. When that was going on, I was really, really out the way. You know what I mean? Because I was there every single day. I was there 6 days a week,
Mm.
every day, sun up to sundown. I wasn't a silent investor. I wasn't, T.I. and Two Chains at their restaurant. You know what I mean? I really was you know, helping in the kitchen when needed. I really was cleaning up tables behind customers. I really was ringing people up at the register and making milkshakes and all that. Like, if you didn't know my music, you would think I worked there. You didn't even think I owned it. You would think I worked there because I was doing everything my employees was doing. Then if they asked for the manager, they'd be like, "There you go, right there. He the owner." And they'd
Mm.
be like, "Oh, really?" You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh man, I saw you mopping the floor. I saw you sweeping the floor. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my spot. You know what I mean? So, but it was so much with that because I still was working on music. I still was ghostwriting. The only thing that really took a hit was touring. Like when that was going on, I really didn't tour. I did some shows. There were certain shows I'll be like, all right, I'm taking that one. All right, I'm taking that one. All right, I'm doing that. But the touring was kind of dead for a minute, and that was the only thing that took a big hit, and I knew it would. I knew it was going to take a big hit. But I mean, I made the mind of a saint with the restaurant open. You know what I mean? So like, I'm at the restaurant all day, then I come home right here to the basement and turn into saint. You know what I mean? For 3 hours and knock out some records, and then go to sleep for 4 hours, and then wake up and get my son ready for school, and then go to the restaurant, come back home, be saint for a little while, go to bed, get him up, blah blah blah. Yeah, it just was a lot, So I put it on pause for a second, but the rebirth is gonna come soon. But I got some other business ventures that I'm brewing up, that I'm investing in and have money in, and stuff that I'm building up and all that as well. But my greatest investment is being a dad, man. Is Miles. That's it. That's my greatest investment.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Based on that, what you just said, that quick question popped out up in my mind. You said out the loop, right? Have you written about that? Have you written anything about, like you leaving all of that alone and being
A
with your
little bit, if you listen to Milestones, if you listen to like Winds of the Father and
yeah,
certain records, I didn't make a song dedicated to being out of the loop,
yeah,
but I do mention it in certain records, especially on Milestones. When you listen to a song for Fathers,
yeah,
me talking about everything changing, right? Like, yo, the moment I found out you was on the way, everything changed. I was like, we got to move, got to do this, blah, 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 blah. Everything changed in regards to that. So I have spoken about it. I haven't made a song dedicated to being out of the industry in a sense, or being kind of distant. I don't want to say out of the industry, kind of having distance from the industry.
mhm,
But I do mention the changes that come along with being a responsible dad. There's a lot of people who are dads and still rip and run in the industry all day,
yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. As
like
long as your seed isn't suffering from it,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, yo, man, how you gonna be going out to concerts and events when you got a kid? Nah, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
yeah,
for me,
mhm,
I started, I wasn't able to go to so many events and all that and be in the loop like that because I was so preoccupied being a dad, first time dad, figuring it out, learning, going off my experiences, going from my parents teaching me certain things of how to be a dad, all these different things. And I was so wrapped up in that, I couldn't go to no events and I couldn't care less.
yeah,
That was what it came down to. The
yeah,
beauty of all of that was I couldn't care less. It
yeah.
wasn't like this baby holding me back, man. It was it was, oh, word? I ain't been to an event in like 6 months. Oh well. You know what I mean? Like that was what it was. And that's what it still is.
Yeah. So, what's the longest tour you've been on since he's been born?
I wanna say the last Europe tour, um, which was in December of 24, because that was literally the whole month. It was 23 days. So it was 3 weeks.
Hmm.
So that was the longest tour I've been on since he's been born. The longest tour I've been on, period, was 5 weeks. You
Hmm.
know, five meaning 5 weeks straight at one time without being home. Like we leave today, we didn't come back home for 5 weeks, and that was in Europe. But he didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But since he's been born, this last one in December, and it was the first time I missed his birthday. And I always had a rule that I would never not be home for his birthday.
Hmm.
But this one, I couldn't do that because we was in Europe. Like
Hmm.
if the tour is in the States, I could say, yo, I want to be done by the 18th, 19th, because his birthday is December 20th. So yo, I tell heads all the time, yo, I gotta be home by the 19th. I have to be in my bed December 19th. Because when you wake up on the 20th, I want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Europe tour, I couldn't do that. We literally had a show the day of his birthday. So, and two more shows after that. So I couldn't leave Europe a 12-hour flight just to, you know what I mean? I couldn't do it. So, man, he was fine, you know. So I had the crowd at the end of the show. I had the crowd, 1, 2, 3, happy birthday, Miles. Yeah, I mean, and I sent it to his iPad so that when he woke up, he would see it. And he was super hyped. He was
Yeah.
watching it over and over. And,
Yeah.
Daddy, where was this at? What country was this? And what language do they speak? And, do you know any of the people in the crowd? All that type of stuff. So, but that was the longest that I've been away from home. That was the longest tour I've done since he's been here. Was like a little over 3 weeks.
And how did you take that? How did you take that separation, being away from him for 3 weeks?
I was good because he's a little older now. I think if he was like a newborn, like the first year, it
Yeah.
might have been like, yo, this is wild. It still was crazy because, that's my heart. That's my best friend, my mini me that's attached to the hip. But we got iPads, we got all that, you know what I mean? So he's calling me every day. Daddy, what country you in tonight? What city you in? Oh, let me see what it looks like. Is it daytime there? Is it nighttime?
Yeah.
Oh, put the camera, put the iPad out the window. Let me see what it looks like, and stuff like that. Did you buy any records? And what kind of animals they got there? What's the zoo like there? I'm like, I am not going to the zoo, buddy. Why you not going to the zoo out there? You know what I mean? So, you should take the day off and go to the zoo. I'm like, dude, I can't do that. So we talk every day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, so I was cool. I was cool. Of course, miss him, want to go home and bug out with him and play fight and
Yeah.
wrestle and give him a hug. But I was good because he's older, he's in school, and he can call me at night, before he go to bed and say prayers over the phone, over the iPad and all that. So it was cool.
Okay.
And
So
he knows, he super gets it. Like he wants videos of me on stage.
ah,
So every time I perform, I have somebody, whoever's with me, a homie or whatever. Sometimes Landon's done it, whoever's with me, yo, film the show real quick. And they'll film a couple songs and then I send it to his iPad. He likes to watch the show. And then he'll walk around the house impersonating me. And he'd be like, yo, 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 what up, yo, yo, yo. And I'm like, leave me alone, man. Like, I know you joking on me, you know what I mean? He'd be like, yo, everybody, what up? 1, 2, 1, 2. Like, Miles will knock you out, man. Get out of here, like he's a joker, man. He like to crack on people.
now you got his name from Miles Davis, right? Your first,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Now you can I know you've seen the movie, Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying, with Miles Morales. Does
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
sound like that movie?
He's into it a little bit. A
Yeah.
little bit. He likes Spider-Man a little bit.
Because
He loves
the
Bat, huh?
connection to New York and all that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. He draws a lot too. He draws a lot.
oh,
So he's animals, jazz, and drawing, like art. Those are his three passions. And dinosaurs. But he loves like Bad Guys movie. He was
mm,
big on the Ninja Turtle movie when he came out, and we had a crazy Ninja Turtle phase. He kind of died out on a little bit. He loves Dogman, the Dogman movie. He loves that. Anything with animals,
yeah.
So he's an animal nut. So anything with animals, any cartoon I want to show him, Miles, you should watch this. They got any animals? Like first thing he said, they got any animals? And I'll be like, nah, they don't got any animals. Like, I'll be like, come on, give it a shot. And he'll be like, all right, and then he'll watch it or whatever, whatever. He likes I put him on to like older stuff
Yep.
and he'll fall for like Usually the oldster. You know what's so random that he loves, man? And I actually hit one of them about it. He loves the Kid and Play cartoon on YouTube.
Are you serious?
Loves it. Like watches it all day. Watches all day on YouTube. Wants the toys. I'm like, dude, they didn't make any Kid and Play toys. Like, so like, so I told Wiz, I told DJ Wiz on the gram, I was like, yo, my son loves the cartoon. He was like, yo, that's insane, man. That's crime. I'm like, yo, my son is 7. Like, this
Yeah,
was made, 20 something, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? And he loves the Kid and Play cartoon. So he likes the old stuff. When I
yeah,
put him on to it, he's all about it.
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, mad random, but he loves the Kid and Play cartoon.
That's dope. All right, next question. As a young father, you know, when you first started out, when your son's probably like a year, a few months, what was your biggest fear?
Oh man. Hmm. I think my biggest fear then was the same as my biggest fear now. Just making sure he's good. And I don't think that ever changes.
Mhm.
Because my parents say all the time, I don't care how old you are, you still my baby. I'm still gonna be worried about you. My mother, anytime I leave the crib to go on the road,
Yeah.
my mother, you made it, you safe, you landed, where you at? You good? Okay, love you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm 42. You know what I mean? So,
Nah,
you
same
know,
here. Same here.
yeah. So, it's
Missed y'all show. I think it was Landon show. I think he was here too though. When y'all was in the town uh,
okay.
earlier this year, and
Yeah.
went to Columbia. Every time.
Yeah.
Land, did you land? You okay? Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Absolutely. So
ooh.
so that doesn't change. So I think my biggest fear or fears when he was very, very young are the same fears that I have now. And it'll probably be the same fears until I'm gone.
Yeah,
Are you all right? Are you good? What's going on? Like, are you straight? Are you safe? Are you happy? You healthy? You good? That's same fears.
yeah. What was your biggest challenge? Your biggest challenge?
As being a dad,
Yeah,
like early on.
yeah, that early stages. What was your biggest challenge?
I don't. Biggest challenge. I don't know. Well, see, a lot of people may feel like a kid is overwhelming, a baby like crying a lot and doing like that. That wasn't Miles. Like, of course, he cried and all that, but he never was a tantrum kid. He never was a you know crying at 4 in the morning kid and can't get him to go. That never was him. Early, the first like month. Being a month old, yeah, the whole like sleeping all day and being up at 2 in the morning, yeah. But other than that, like, I don't know. I can't say if I know of any challenges. I don't, and that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some that I'm overlooking, but just wanted to make sure he's good. But that ain't really a challenge. That's like you said, fear. I don't know about challenges. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I guess that's a blessing.
Yeah, that's really good because everybody
Yeah.
else is like, oh man, this was a challenge.
Yeah. I
What-
mean, I could say little things like trying to get him to eat this or the silly things, you know what I mean? I guess when I hear challenges, I'm thinking something heavy. Little things like, trying to get him to do this or eat that or eat little stupid stuff.
What about you though? You personally, as dad, any challenges for you, you know? Like perfect example, you
Mhm.
right, not only for yourself, but for other people, right? And then you
Yeah.
business too. Was that it? Were there any challenging moments as far as like scheduling wise?
Okay, so if we're talking about that type of stuff, yeah,
Because it's kind of like now you got your sons. Like now you can't just sit down and write for two, three,
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I'll still take those gigs. And like, so some of the gigs I'll take with that, like they'll be here in Atlanta. So I'll have to go do that and then still come home and be dad. So like the way I would have to schedule it, same way we scheduled this, like, yo, let's do it at this time. Cause I know by then my son is asleep. So it's the same thing where I'm like, all right, I may not leave the crib to go to somebody's studio session until 8:30 because I know he's in the bed at 8:30. He's going to sleep right away, whatever, whatever.
Okay.
Cool. Now I'm going to whatever studio here in Atlanta to work with such and such artists to write for them and ghostwrite and help them with their records. Back in the day, those sessions made the marathon sessions, they may last 7, 8, 9 hours.
Yeah.
Now I don't want them to last that long because I got stuff to do. I got to go home. I got to pack lunch. I got to do X, Y, Z. I got to get up at 6:30, 6:45 to take him to school. Yeah, I really would like to go to bed. But with those types of sessions for other people, you can't really dictate when they start and stop because they're not your session. It's for other people. Like if this person want me to come write for them, it's their session. And if I pass, then okay, cool, we get another writer. You know what I mean? So, I go do the session and I really want to leave. I got here like 9:30. Man, it's like 1. I really want to go. Really want to leave now. You know what I mean? It's gonna take me about 40 minutes to get back to the crib.
Mm-hmm.
Really want to leave right now and try to get 4.5 hours of sleep,
Mm.
5 hours of sleep. And I can't. I remember nights going to sessions and getting in the house at 5:30, and my alarm is set for 6:30.
Mm.
There was even once I got home and I cooked lunch for my son to pack so that when I woke up at 6:30 and got him in the tub and got him dressed and took him to school, his lunch was ready. So 5:30 in the morning, the house quiet sleep. I'm in the kitchen literally cooking, like stove on pots, cooking food for. I think I was making spaghetti for him for the next day because I was like, oh man, I didn't get to pack his lunch. 5:30 in the morning, I just walked in the door, turn on the stove, cooking. Like there's that. So I really, I'm I don't know. I'm in the best way possible. I'm washed with certain stuff. Like I be telling heads like, yo, man, if you don't hit me before 11:30, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like I'm if you hit my phone 11:30 on, I won't see it till the next morning. I'm in the bed by 11:30, no doubt. You know what I mean? Unless it's the weekend or unless I got stuff to do. I gotta go out here. I gotta work down here in the basement on some music, blah, 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 blah. Man, 11:30, I'm out, B. 11:30, 11 o'clock, I'm walking upstairs. Let me go upstairs and I had to get up at 6:30, you know what I mean? And, I'm still young. My man Murder said, I'm young, I'm pretty, I hit hard, I'm in the best shape of my life, but I still would like to try to get at least 6.5, 7 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? So, and
Yeah.
all that's part of being a dad. Like all that's part of being a good present dad.
Exactly. Exactly. Last one. If there's any, if you experienced any regrets as a young father.
Well, I don't know. I don't think I'm a young father. I mean, I had Miles at 35.
Well, no,
So
well, like when you was the early ages of father.
okay.
Yeah.
Like when I first like the beginning stages of being a dad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um Regrets. Man, I don't believe in regrets, man. I always say
Yeah.
that.
Are things
But
like
yeah.
that you wish you could do over, right?
Hmm.
I've heard some people say, like, you know what, I wish I would have spent more time. He was always with his mom and his grandmother. Or I wish I'd have took more pictures, had more memorable moments
Right.
like that.
I'm with him so much. Literally, we're like one person. So it's definitely not the time thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'm with him so much, man. I don't know, man. I mean,
But
he's
again,
so
if you
well
had none, that's
rounded
great.
and
If you
huh?
don't have no regrets, that's great.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some, man. Thank God I don't have any. He's so well rounded and he's into everything that I want him to be into. Like I said, he doesn't know. Like my son don't even have water guns. You know what I mean? Because he don't even know what none of that is. He doesn't watch any cartoons where they have a gun. You
Mm,
know what I mean? So like I don't think my son know what a hammer is. Like I'm talking about a pistol. You know what I mean? I don't think my son know what a pistol is. Like,
yeah.
and that's amazing.
Mm,
You see on the news, 7-year-olds doing XYZ, bringing stuff to school and, saying this, that, and the third to the teacher at 7 years old. My son don't know none of that world. And that's exactly how I wanted it, why I left the hood, why I left around the way, why I left Bed-Stuy. As much as I love home and I love the Stuy, that's exactly why I did it. You know
mm,
what I mean? All my son knows is house, backyard, swing set, play fight with dad. He does like to box me. So, we getting into that. I was like, all right, we about to sign you up for boxing.
hmm
Like, you want to walk in the house and punch me in the stomach all day. All right, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, my
Yeah.
son will walk by me in the house, or he'll be on his scooter. Oh my God, he rides his scooter all through the house. He ride more than he walk. He just, one of them scooters you stand on and, with the handlebar and you push off on one leg and all day. Oh, it's the best thing I ever could have got him. Boy, how long has he had that scooter? A year, 2 years, something? It's all he does. Scooter, scooter. Oh, so my son would be on the scooter zooming by, flying one hand, and he'll just come by me, pow, just punch me in the stomach. I'm like, yo, get over here. And I'll grab him by the shoulder and he's laughing and we play fighting on the couch, like so I'm like, all right, you want to walk around and punch me in the back of the head? Bet. We're gonna sign you up. He's like, all right, sign me up. Like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? So but he's other than that, he's even with that, he's playing when he does that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? He don't My son don't have a malicious bone in his body. He's playing when he do that. Yeah, he's playing hard, he's hitting hard, but he's playing. He wants me to hit him back and we
yeah,
laugh and all that. So like he's just a awesome, funny, sweet kid, man. And I couldn't have asked for it to be a better way and for him to be a better kid. And he's just an ill mix of me and mom. And, he's awesome, man. Everything is about him. 100%. 100%. It makes you be like, I don't understand dudes who don't be with their kids,
man.
dudes who choose. Now, if your woman, if the moms is giving you troubles, different things. I know people going through real messed up situations like that
That's
where they're
different.
not allowed to, but they still get blamed as if they're not doing so by choice, but they're not allowed to. Like, yo, you're not allowing him to be a father. That's different. But
Hmm.
there's dudes out here choosing, like, yo, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right on that.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I could never. I don't get it.
yeah. I've always said that. Oh,
Yeah.
I got two boys, and they kind of close in age, and it's scary at first, because I was raising them by myself, you know,
Mm,
ever since my youngest was 9 months.
wow.
Yeah, 9 months. And quick story, I was at the laundromat one day, right when I, walked away from their mom, moved back to my mom, living in the living room, man, sleeping on a mattress and all my
Wow.
stuff. So we at the laundromat, and so my oldest son, he running around, my youngest son in the stroller with his bottle, and this
Yeah.
dude, older black dude walked in. He was just like, man, it all matters. It all matters. And I just looked at him like, that just stuck with me. And it stuck me so much that I got it tattooed on the back of my arm
Oh, wow. That's dope. It
because
all matters.
it for some reason, it just all came together. I was like, you know what? Them being here with me now, them rolling with me to go do laundry, get groceries, and me just being there goes a
Yeah.
long way. And I knew that I would figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I did because I write, I write too. I write a lot of poems and things like that. Um,
Yeah.
I wrote a poem right here on the inside of my biceps, and it starts off like, I'm gonna learn from you, you're gonna learn from me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's been, ever, fast forward now. My youngest is 13, about to be 14. So
Yeah.
point when men walk away from their kids, man, it's sad because they don't even know that they're abandoning themselves
Absolutely.
because they don't know
Absolutely.
how much they can grow as a person,
Hmm.
being there involved in their kid's life.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And like I said, if it's not your choice and your hands are tied, that's one thing. And you truly are fighting to break those shackles and your hands are tied, that's one thing. But when you choose to walk away, I just don't understand it, man. And I go for anybody. I just don't get it because there's nothing that I won't do for my son. My son goes with me everywhere. Be like,
Yeah,
the only place he don't go with me is on tour. You
yeah.
know what I mean? My son go with me everywhere.
So he was with you at the
Supermarket.
restaurant when
Huh?
you were working at the restaurant at your business. He was with.
Yeah, when I was had the store open and I was running it and all that, yeah, he would pop up after school. He would be there eating chicken fingers every day and all that. Like my son go with me everywhere, every gas station, every mall trip, every errand I gotta run. I gotta go to the post office and mail off some merch. Come with me. I'm coming. I'm coming. You know what I mean? Like everywhere. My son go with me. We are attached,
Yeah,
So I'm like, I don't get how you could not want that.
yeah,
How can you can know that that's out there, this little life, boy or girl, this little life. And this
exactly.
goes for fathers and mothers,
Yeah,
like this little life is there that you made that's half of you. And, I don't understand how you can not
yeah,
be there 24/7.
exactly. And I had the same question because my son's mother, she wasn't really involved. No,
Mm.
still kind of not. Um, and I didn't understand how she could go weeks without even talking to her sons.
Yeah.
So, I felt that personally, you know what I'm saying? And man, you've seen the effects of someone not having a mother, not having
Yeah.
a father, and how that affects them their whole life. It's
Yeah.
people, because I'm what, you was born in 82, I was born in 84. So,
Okay.
it's people older than us,
Yeah.
that got issues because mom wasn't there, dad wasn't there. So having a father, a parent in a kid's life is, man, it's critical.
Yeah.
It really, and that's not an overstatement, you know what I mean? It's critical.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely, man. It's listen, if I didn't have, if I didn't have my parents, man, it's I always tell heads, I grew up with three parents. I had my moms, my pops, and my stepmoms, who's a second mom to me, So I literally grew up with three parents. When my pops got married to my stepmoms when I was 10.
hmm
So from 10 years old on, I got a bonus mom. You know what I mean? While
yeah,
I'm still with my mom every day. My mom's the greatest mom in the world, the whole deal, do anything for me right now to this day.
yeah,
Like today, do anything for me, at 42 years old. So I was super blessed, man. And it's just like Boys in the Hood. When Furious say your little friends across the street, and we got nobody to show them that. They don't. You're gonna see how they end up too.
exactly.
That is 100% true, 100% real,
Yeah,
100% vivid.
yeah,
Like there was nothing more honest and truthful that could be said than that. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like it is the truth, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Now, your mom was a Jehovah's Witness, right? Or she still is?
No, so my stepmoms came in with that and
Oh,
actually over years brought my dad into that light as well. So
so
now my dad practices that and it's very, very all the way in, but he wasn't like that, growing up. My stepmoms brought that to the table. You know what I
got
mean? But my mom's did not. No.
so your stepmom. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my mom, she's a witness, and my sister,
Okay, word.
I guess I'm the black sheep out the family. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Well, you know the thing with that, and if you knew it from a kid or know it, like I wasn't raised in as a kid because like I said, my pops got married to my stepmoms when I was 10,
yeah.
and then he still wasn't in it, even though she was,
Mhm.
but he wasn't until man, I probably was like a young adult by that point. By the time my pops really like jumped in on that, I probably was like early 20s. So it's still been 20 years of it for him, you know what I mean? But I wasn't raised in it, but I know a lot about it just
Yeah.
as the family, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, you have like the really strict ones. And I was talking with one of my mans about this a couple weeks ago because his family's a similar dynamic. And it's like you have the really strict ones, which are the ones that are kind of like the logo for it. When you hear JW, you think that,
Yeah.
but then you have the really worldly ones. And
Yep.
my parents are the really worldly ones. You know what I'm saying? So like my pops, my pops is the elder, if I'm not mistaken. My pops is the elder now and all that, but like my pops still go to the gym with his playlist, MOP, Jay Z,
Yeah.
DMX to get high. You know what I'm saying? Like most witnesses, they're like, what? You know what I'm saying? My pops still sit in my basement with me and, we'll crack a bottle of Sir Davis and
Yeah.
he'll try to take the bottle home. You know what I mean? Like, so, my parents are witnesses, but they're well, my pops and my stepmoms, they're witnesses, but they're what we call worldly. Like my stepmoms that have margarita night with all her girlfriends and they'll throw on the Beyonce homecoming concert and be dancing and drinking all the margaritas up. A lot of when you think of witnesses, you don't think that. You know
And
what I mean? You think skirts down to your ankles and
yeah.
all, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's what they call being worldly. And I'm not a witness, but like I know a lot about it. So my fam with it are very worldly. Like, you know what I mean? Like do it, you'd be like, Dad, you wouldn't even know. Now they not cursing and all that no more. They used to when they were younger, but they're not doing that no more. But
Yeah.
you would be like, yo, you a witness?
Yeah.
Yo, you sitting here with your Polo double RL on, and, your Nike Vomeros and your Yankee fitted. It's my pops, you know what I mean? You'd be like, you a witness? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
you
see,
got all these stories about back in the day in Flatbush and blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
Word? Like, if we going to the liquor store? Like, yeah, like, so it's different.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What I've figured out as I gotten older is that it's a lot of misconceptions about witnesses, what they can,
Absolutely.
right? So you can,
It's probably the most confused
yeah, yeah.
between them and Muslims, without a doubt.
Witnesses could drink. It's like it just
Yeah,
don't overdrink. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. You could party, have a good time, do your
yeah,
thing, blah, blah.
yeah,
Just know what it is and do what you
yeah,
got to do first and all that. And that's being worldly. Now you do have the mega strict ones, and I know some mega strict ones too. They don't do nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you don't got to be like that. You could be
right,
worldly and you chilling, you bugging out, having a good time, you dancing, you running, you partying to this, you going to concerts and da da da, and
yeah,
you drinking and chilling. Nobody smoking, nobody doing that, but yeah, you chilling, you drinking, and you eating
right,
good, and you go to the Beyonce show, you go to the Usher show, and blah blah blah
yeah.
blah. Yeah, like you worldly, you know.
So I teach my sons, because they go with my mom, to the meetings,
Yeah,
and I try because I believe that's where I need to be, but
mhm.
always that they hard to break. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
Teach my sons like, hey, there's nothing wrong with listening to rap, but it's a certain kind of rap that you could be feeding yourself on a daily basis, other ones that you can't.
yeah,
You be listening to dudes that talking about shooting and killing and dope dealing and always talking about what they have. You don't want to be filling your mind with that kind of stuff all the time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So now, my oldest is 16. He love hip hop. He love Lupe. Love
Yeah, there you go.
he like Lupe and rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? My youngest son,
There you go.
he like neo soul.
Yeah, there you go.
Neo soul and hip hop because I'm always. Your music is the wake up anthem every day. Like,
That's real. Thank you, man.
yeah, you already. So it's a good morning. Say that's the name of the playlist, and it's just my favorite tracks from your
Yeah.
album. And then the
That's
first,
real.
first
Man,
song
thank
I
you, man.
always
That's
yeah,
real.
first song I always play is "Cost of Sleep."
Word
Every
up.
every morning, the cost of
And I
sleep.
haven't heard that. You might know the lyrics better than me. I haven't heard that in years, man.
Crazy
You
man.
might know the rhymes better than me.
When I listen to your music, I just zone out to the beats, and I just your music literally moves me. Like I
Yeah,
like
that's
I
real.
remember like the first interview that we had, when I was, at FedEx working them 10, 11-hour days, I would just put your music on and them days
Yeah.
just go by and it wouldn't affect me.
Wow.
Real talk. So
Man.
that's the power of music, right? That's the power.
Yeah, 100%.
So like I said, I think I probably told you before, the Bible,
Yeah.
Bible is a blueprint. Your music is my soundtrack. That's that's
Mm.
that's just straight up. I ain't trying to, pump you up or nothing, but
No, no, no. That's real, man. I appreciate
yeah,
that. That's
your
real,
music
man. That
helped.
means the world.
Yeah, your music helped change my life. It's a big part of my son's life.
Yeah.
I always play your music every day because I always tell them like, hey, this is this is why this is who I gauge against other rappers. Is you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
fact.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's like it's you, Fonte, Black Thought, Lupe, then Odyssey. That's my
Mm.
I put y'all up against anybody.
That's real. That's a serious starting five, man.
And I
That's
take I
real.
I take y'all on 4 games out of 7. Like y'all not losing one. Like
Yeah.
not even a gentleman's sweep. Like
There you go. There you go. I agree with all
So,
that, man.
so next question, man. So over the years, how have you changed as a father? From your son being a newborn to now, like you said, he's a little older now.
Definitely, I get to get on him a little more now. When he was younger, it was just like he's real young, 2, 3, 4 years old. Can't say and do too much. He's a little baby. Now I do it, what I mean? You're gonna be 8 in December. So now we could get it on a little bit, when I just be like, yo, what did I say? Like there's even more bass in my voice and it's a little harder now. Like I stop playing, you know what I mean? So, stuff like that. But and I can have certain conversations with him now, like we're doing a lot of Black history stuff now. And I was very, very excited to get to this point. Little kid, you 4 years old, it's hard to explain these people who don't look like us didn't like us for the majority of our existence in this country. Here's why. It doesn't mean everybody who doesn't look like us doesn't like us, but here's the things that you need to know about the history of this world, the history of this country, the history of our people. Can't have that conversation at 4 years old, right? You're going to daycare and, little kids, little white kids, black kids, everybody playing together. They say the wrong thing, it could get awkward. You know what I mean? But now he's old enough where it's like, here's what it is.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that was happening to us back in the day. These are some of the things that are still happening to us now. These are the things you need to look out for. Like I was telling him, it was last year. I was playing Tribe Called Quest in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't even thought about it because I don't use the word. I don't use the N word. And on Midnight Marauders, Sucker Nig came on, and it was the first time I thought about it because playing the music, he's in the back seat nodding his head, and hey sucker, wherever you are, and I was like, oh shit, I got to talk to him about that. So
Mm,
right away, I turned it off, and I was like, all right, buddy, you heard that word? He was like, what word? And I was like, this word. And he was like, yeah. I was like, this is what this word means. Never let nobody call you this word. Somebody call you in this word, you go in their jaw. You know what I mean? Like having those conversations with him. But I hadn't even thought about it because I don't use the word. So the word is never in the house. He doesn't hear the music that the word because he doesn't care about, he like hip hop. He loves my music, but he don't care. He loves me and he loves Pete. Loves Pete Rock. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like I was putting them on the producers. I
yeah.
was putting them on the Dilla and Preem and a bunch of different people, and he picked Pete. He was like, I like Pete Rock. I like the Pete Rock records you play. So now he be wanting to hear Retropolitan. He's like,
Yeah.
Daddy, can you play Retropolitan? Can you play you and Pete's records? And I'll play, Retropolitan or whatever, whatever. But I didn't have to think about the word until I'm playing Tribe, and I love Tribe. Midnight Marauders is
Yeah.
everything for me, and I didn't even think about it until it came on, and I was like, ooh, and I looked in the back, and he was nodding his head. I was like, we haven't talked about that word yet. He don't know what that word means. Hold on, and right there, I had the conversation with him because you're in second grade now. Some little kid might say something he shouldn't say. You know what I mean? Like, some little kid might say some things he shouldn't say to you, and if this word is one of those things said, this is what you need to know about that. And this is how you need to react to it. So that's one of the things, like you said, like as I get older and fatherhood becomes older for me and I get longer in the tooth with fatherhood, just those are some of the things that change. Like, all right, now I could talk to him about this and this.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure I've experienced,
Yeah.
sure, man. Okay, what's been a pivotal moment so far? What's a pivotal moment so far as a father?
Oh man, just seeing his growth, him loving jazz, him walking and talking and just his growth are pivotal moments for me every day,
Yeah,
for sure.
most definitely. Okay, how does being a father, I think you kind of touched on it. But how does being a father affect your career as far as what do you take from fatherhood, like your skill set as a father? Can you take any of that into your career as a rapper, as a
Oh man.
businessman,
Yeah. You definitely, I mean, I always thought about the business, very, very heavily because I was providing for myself and my whiz and all that. And now I'm providing for my son and then myself and my whiz. It's just him first with everything. That's just always the way it's going to be. And so, any move you make, you think about how it can affect him and impact him. If it's long-term business, how can he benefit? Excuse me, like how can he benefit from it? How can he own it when I'm gone? Um, I make him executive producer on all my albums now
mm,
because if for whatever reason one of them wins some sort of award, he gets an award.
yep,
Let's say God willing, Keep Me Company gets nominated for a Grammy. He now is nominated for a Grammy because he's executive producer of the album. So little things like that. The long haul and down the road, future and all that. Yeah.
okay. Now, what skills have you learned from your career that you take into fatherhood?
Multitasking for sure. Um, what else would I say? Just continuing to be aware, being conscious of everything, trying to make sound and smart decisions and be cognizant of everything and think ahead of everything. I always say, I even told my pops this once about, something he was, just seeing things in the street might have been like a road rage incident or something that he may have been. I tell people this all the time. I say, man, somebody could be in your life for 30 seconds or 30 years. The choice is yours. I live by that. You could run into somebody in the store, you don't know them, they act stupid, cut you in the line or whatever. I'm not saying tolerate disrespect, never that. But the way you handle it, Somebody could be in your life for 30 seconds or 30 years. That's up to you. You know, somebody cut you off in traffic, you'll never see this person again, right?
Yeah.
Or you go back and forth with the banter, somebody pull out, bang, bang, 30 seconds or 30 years. It's up
Mm,
to you, you know? So just, I've always lived by that, but just continuing that even more, right? Like, yo, I ain't living for me, I'm living for him. Like, anytime I leave the house now, if I go on the road, I'm on the plane or whatever, I pray all the time, protect my house while I'm gone and make me get back home to it. You know, protect my family under my roof and make me get back home to them, you know, all the time.
got you. That's powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How do you want to be remembered by your son?
Being a great father, a great leader, great man, a great teacher, a great provider, somebody who he feels understands him, understood him, and always had his back, always was there for him, who he could depend on and learn from. And then all the music stuff later.
Yeah.
If you notice, everything I said had nothing to do with music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like music stuff is later. It'd be cool, you know, he's 40 years old with his wife and kid or something at friggin' Six Flags. Somebody goes, yo, those guys, who was your father? Oh my God, you know, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever, that's at the end of the list. Yeah, I want him to be proud of my music and all that, but I want him to be proud of his dad as a dad and as a man. And then all the music is later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yes.
So, what important values do you want your son to remember? And these, are internal values, like the value of hard work, the value,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh man, I preach leadership every single day. He has recited the rules to being a leader every single morning since he was what, like 4 years old. You know, every morning he has his affirmations and his rules to being a leader every morning. You know what I mean? So that's what I instill in him every morning. I say, as soon as we pull up to the school, I say, all right, you know what you got to say. I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm great, I'm a leader. He says that every day. And then I go, all right, and what's the three rules to be a leader? Kind of like Boys in the Hood. It's very eerie, you know what I mean? Like, because that was me. So now I'm raising him that way. So I'm like, what's three rules to be a leader? And he says, respect people who respect me, look people in the eye when I talk to them. If I want to learn something, I ask questions or I read. I'm like, there you go. You know, like, so being a leader is what I preach over everything in the crib with him,
yeah,
you know, and just all the various layers of being a leader. And if you want to get him mad, be like, are you a leader or a follower? I thought you was a leader. And he'd be like, I'm a leader. Like, all right, well, then let me see, you know, if he do something he shouldn't do, or if he have like, I don't know, buddy, I thought you was a leader, man. I don't know. Maybe you're a follower. I'm a leader. Yeah, like that, gotta get him. That's how you piss him off, you know? So,
that's dope, man. I kind of do the same thing every morning. I ask
yeah.
myself, get out the car, I'd be like, what's today? And they'd be like, another day to get better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Say how. And it was like, try my best, think before I act, believe in myself, and pray to Jehovah.
Hmm.
Saying like that's they know because they
And
know.
most people ain't doing that, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And that's where we got to change things, you know, one house at a time. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the parts why I did, the podcast connected to the brand. People need to, to hear that. You'd be surprised. I mean, you probably wouldn't be surprised how there's a lot of dudes out there ain't never heard none of this. What we talking about or other interviews that I've done. People
Yeah.
had a father figure in their life.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So it's super important, man, that we do all that. You know.
yeah. So, what morals do you want your child to remember, your son to remember, and morals being like love, peace, kindness, goodness, you know,
All of that. You know, being a stand-up man, stand-up individual, because that's how I was raised. Like between my parents and the neighborhood, it was all about being a stand-up individual, being a leader, being strong, being solid, being about your word, who you are, what you say, all of those things. You know what I mean? So definitely, without a doubt, just being a stand-up individual and meaning what you say, saying what you mean, your word, doing good business, doing honest and honorable and noble business. You know what I mean? Like all of those types of things are the morals that I want him to have and take with him
Mhm.
always, you know, while I'm here and then whenever that day is that I'm not, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Next question. If you can give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Mm. I've thought about this a lot. I've been asked this a couple times. I would say just knowing that the music business is a business,
Mm.
you know, for sure. You learn that along the way because you're so in love, especially if you're doing this for the right reasons, which is the love of the music.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's all about the music. You love it. You love it. You want to make money and get be a superstar and all that. But the music, you love it, and then you learn that the music industry is a business. It's an industry, right? The music business is the business of music. So you learn that, and the way things go, and the way people treat one another in business, and the deception, and the this and this, and you know, you have to learn on the fly. You know, you got to get dropped in the water. So just knowing what that world is and what's coming early on for sure would probably be the thing.
Yeah. Okay. So next, second to last question.
Hmm.
How do you want your music to affect the youth? Which includes your son. How do you want your music to affect the youth?
Oh man, I want my music to impact the generation after me the same way the generation before me impacted me. You know, when I was listening to Illmatic and Liquid Swords and Reasonable Doubt and Only Built for Cuban Links and you know all that Iron Man and you know Ready to Die, of course. You know all that. I want my music to have that same effect of lasting forever. You know, we talk about albums from 20, 30 years. We celebrating Raekwon 30th anniversary, Liquid Swords 30th anniversary. All these albums, there's a lot of albums that don't get celebrated, right? So we celebrate these albums that are 20, 30 years old for a reason because they're that great, they're that elite, they're that incredible. I just always wanted to add to that pot, you know? And I think I've done that. I know I've done that. I've wanted to add to that pot always of the music lasting forever and kind of being timeless and being here because you know we talk about Marvin Gaye and records was from '68. You know we talk about the Jackson Five. We talk about you know Eric B and Rakim. You know Paid in Full and Phone Fiend. You know we talk about all these different things and these records are 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60 years old. I mean, Kind of Blue came out in 1959. My 7 year old know, you know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, you know. So I want my music to stand to have that same fighting chance, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy you say that because one album I play a lot from I think it was from the early '70s when Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions,
Right.
creeping on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I put that on, like at night or whatever, had a long day. So that brings me to my next question with you. When you feeling the dad blues, you just kind of just you zone, you just like, man, I'm kind of stressed out right now. I need a moment. What do you put on? What's your favorite song to put on?
Oh man.
Or hobby, song or hobby. What do you do to clear your head?
It's always music. It's always music or what else would it be? Sometimes I kick back. Like I have my basement that I'm in now, I have a man cave and I'm very big on my man cave. Like I hit my man cave every night, you know, whether I'm down here recording or if I'm in the other room in the man cave just chilling, you know, just recline, movie theater TV, whatever, whatever, lay back, watch whatever, veg out for a little while or whatever, whatever, and just kind of get away. You know, it's good to have your own peace in your own space, no matter who you are, you know, especially if you live with people, you're in the house with your wife and your kids and whatever is going on. Even for women, you know, they get away from their husband and kids and all, just to have a moment to you to recharge and all that. But I guess if I'm getting away, it'll be any sort of a mix of some jazz, and obviously that's where my son get it from. Um, I don't know if there's one song that I throw on to just excuse me, I just throw on to like pick up. I don't know if there's one song, but it's always just some jazz or some lo-fi. Like I'm very big on lo-fi as well, like lo-fi instrumentals.
Got it. Got it. But that's
Yeah.
all, man. Thank you. Thank you for getting on again. And
Nah, no doubt, man. I'm glad we was able to do it, man. I'm glad we was able to link and connect and knock it down, man. And it's dope, doing it for dads, for black dads, for fatherhood. Some of my favorite conversations to have, more so than the music. We could talk about new album and all that, new music, blah blah blah, or what did this record mean, or whatever, all the time. But like doing this though is for me what I feel like it's really about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I work for city. I work in City Hall now. Um,
Okay.
in Oakland. So I've interviewed three council members down there. I just
Okay.
go for the one of the schools in Oakland. So the people that's getting aware of what's going on is like really growing. And they
Yeah.
supposed to send some Fathers Summit next month in September. So
Okay.
hey, making a lot of good connections, man. So
Yeah.
I always bring you up first though. I always be like, nah.
Oh man, that's real, man. That's real, man. Thank
Like
you,
I
man. I
said,
appreciate that 100%.
yeah, because like you gotta think about it, man. Like how many people in the world could say they interviewed their favorite rapper? You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
twice.
that's dope, man.
Right.
I'm honored and humbled by those words, man. You know what I mean? For real, for real.
So I appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna get this edited up. You know what I mean? As soon as I can, get it back to
Okay.
you. I can't thank you enough for everything.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing, bro. And of course, I'm always watching you on my side, bro. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. We get together soon. Keep me posted.
will do, man. Have a good one.
Likewise, bro.
Peace.